When people ask me, what do I do for a living? I tell them in short that I protect people's lives before they even know that danger will even happen. And that's with our fire alarm systems. As a technician, I always loved what I did because it seemed so challenging. The systems was intricate. There was so many different levels within this fire alarm industry, especially if you're starting out. It'll be a lot of things that you may be confused about because all of these electrical components, DC circuits, resistors, end of line resistors, capacitors, and all of these different things. See, when I was coming up, it was more of conventional style systems with system threes where you have to move diodes and different things like that and replace these cards, or even the old Edwards 5800 system, the one that would take up a whole wall inside of a building. These large component systems with these cards that had to be maintained and everything like that. So these zone modules had transformed to a much larger system that we have today. So that's why I like fire alarm, and been in this industry ever since 1999, I want to say 98. Yep, around 98, 99. I started out with a company called Fire Quench at the time, and they pretty much hired me on the spot. I had no idea what I was getting myself into because prior to that, I was working at RCN doing cable and telephone, and all in Lower Manhattan. So moving from cable, telephone, and internet over to fire alarm systems was a huge change. It was a big change for me, especially. I really didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I'm also glad that I got myself into that. Fast forward, I'm in a place where I've learned so much from so many different manufacturers, went to many different forms of manufacturer training with all these different systems. So I'm able to pretty much consolidate this information and pretty much regurgitate it in layman's terms to get people to understand. Most often, especially when I was coming up, and it's still crazy that it's there today, it's older techs, older guys, I don't understand why they feel the need to not really share the information. I really don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the color distinction, the job security, you don't like the person or the individual, you're just a terrible person. Whatever the case is, I have no idea what goes on in another person's mind. But that's the reason why Secured Securities has a 100% free forever fire alarm training center. We're going to teach you whatever it is that I know when it comes to fire alarm systems, installation, service, programming, and anything that's advanced. NICET certification, those are all our paid courses. But if you want to learn any and everything about fire alarm and whatever hands that I could get on, let's say if I can get my hands on a simplex panel, I'll show you how to program simplex panels, but I need the program and the keys, a bunch of different things that I need. So I will have to reach out to some of my constituents, some of my friends in the industry, and see if they'll help me out, create some videos on these other different panels. So that way we could get you you could have a wealth of knowledge, so that way it's only better for yourself. It really is. You become more marketable, because I've seen how easy it was when I started developing all of these skills and certifications. I really seen that I was the one that the companies was looking for, and I was the valuable one at the company. So once I understood that, I knew that the company needed me, and that shifted my mindset. Not like I don't give a fuck type attitude. I'm always going to come to work, never say no, and just do what I have to do with a peaceful mindset and always with a amiable attitude. So that's how I always approached it. However, I always knew my value. So if it was something that I didn't like, I spoke up about it. And if it didn't get handled, I moved on. Same with relationships. You have to be able to develop your discernment, and that comes with living through life and learning these wisdoms and these things like that comes with going through life, experiencing whatever you need to experience to go through that particular pain to actually graduate and get to that next level of discernment. But you have to always look inside yourself first. It's never on the outside, it's always on the inside. So some of the things that we do inside of our fire alarm company, we send out quotes and proposals each and every day. So that way, this is pretty much like a marketing game just to stay active in front of people. And then we also have our prime contractors and subs and electricians and GCs that we often work with closely, that they just send us emails so that way we could put a price out on the fire alarm system. Rather, we're going to be doing smarts and parts on the full installation. In addition to that, we have minority certification when it comes to DBE, that's the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, and also the MBE, which is the Minority Business Enterprise from New York City and New York State. So now how this opened up doors for us is with the city agencies. They put out solicitations where they need a fire alarm company to, let's say, monitor 30 buildings. Why wouldn't you want to monitor 30 buildings? You don't have to, especially as a solopreneur, if you got one or two guys, you don't have to do all the installs in the fire alarm company. If you could get 30 monitoring contracts at $300 to $400 a piece times 30, that's how much you get each and every month. So you don't have to go for the installs. It's the inspections you can go for, the monitoring, the services, and these are the doors that actually open up when it comes to these city agencies. And then you have also the installations when they want a new system. Let's say maybe on a federal project and you have to go to an army base to install a whole new fire alarm system. You can bid that out, put all the contingencies in there because you're going to have to hire union workers, do PLA labor and things of that nature. So if you don't know how to do that, I suggest you stay away from it. But inside of the fire alarm business blueprint, we teach you all of that. We teach you how to write the proposals. We teach you how to price out your job, PLA, prevailing wage, or even regular rate. So that way you have an overall understanding how to actually run a fire alarm company. So we're going to give you everything that I pretty much know. Now, when it comes to the marketing, we use a couple of different systems. We use Zoho, and we also use the GrowthWorks system. The GrowthWorks system is how we manage our funnels and send people through our funnels through the fire alarm business blueprint. And each product or offer that we release actually goes through the GrowthWorks system. And through Zoho, we use that for all our marketing. So we put that on our Securities website, and that's where you will find the lead funnel, the opt-in forms on there, and all of the intricate details that connect our business and automate each aspect of our business through Zoho. And all of these tools are all linked. It took me over a decade to put all this stuff together. So with Zoho, we have Zoho Desk. That's our ticketing agency. So you could email us at support@securities.zohodesk.com. Ticket will be generated for whatever situation that you're going on. We can escalate that ticket to either the operations manager. If you have an issue with the website, whatever your issue is, we will forward that to that department so that way we can handle your situation. And then they have Zoho Sales IQ. This is analytics we put on top of our website so we could know who's on our website, how long they spent on our website. Then we would grab those details and put it into our CRM. And another one that the last one I'm going to explain about is our CRM that's connected with Zoho Social. So anytime that somebody mentions securities on any type of social media platform, Zoho is going to snatch up that information because I have these mentions already programmed inside of Zoho. So if they say a particular keyword, we're going to sift that out throughout wherever it's at on the internet and pull that information back into Zoho. So that is how I use Zoho. It's a lot of other tools. And as you follow along, because I want to try to be consistent with putting out daily talks or daily information to help you get from A to B. So when it comes to Zoho, I'll definitely be going over all the different apps that we use within our business. And sometimes you got to face what the reality is. So I face a lot of struggles in the business when it comes to me doing the work, because it is me, a solopreneur. I just hired a project manager, and I also just hired a salesman. So that way I could 10x myself. But when it was just me, it was very difficult for me to manage everything, to the marketing, to getting in jobs, to managing the projects. We was getting all of these project work and a lot of these deposits. So what I had to do was make sure I was able to last this money each and every month, because I knew once the deposit came in, I wasn't getting no more money for another 3 or 4 weeks. Not to say it wasn't no more money. There are contractual agreements I have out there, maybe a $300 a month, maybe $1,000. There's some monthly obligation, there's some annual obligations, but it's not like it's a lot. In totality, it is breaking up to about $6,000 per year between all of my clients that pay on an RMR basis. So I'm actually building that portion up. So what lasts to build the business is the actual installs. These installs I get are 6 figures. So when you get a 30% deposit on the 6 figure, I'm stretching that money out for 3 or 4 months. I'll get whatever I need to get, pay the engineers. If I have to buy the equipment, I'll buy the equipment. Whatever it is that I need to do, I will do that. And then I will make sure I manage that money for the next 3 or 4 months, because I know for sure I'm not going to be able to get no more money unless I luckily get another project or RMR money that I get on a monthly basis, they'll just help out as well. But to maintain us is really just these big projects that we have going on. So as I hire more people, I could duplicate my process a lot more, and I could do more projects. I could get more service calls, and I could just do more things. Because when it's by yourself, it's only but so much you can do. I scaled the business up anywhere between $500,000 to $750,000 a year by myself. Now, for me to get over that, I need 4 or 5 more people to fill up more areas within the business to duplicate the processes that I have actually going on. So it's not like you can't do it. It can actually be done. You just have to have the mindset to be able to push through whatever it is that you're going through. The mindset to say, I'm not looking for the instant gratification, because I know if I just keep putting work and forth with this process, I'm going to get my end result that I'm looking for, whatever it is, the $50,000 per month, or just enough money to cover my bills for that a particular month. Now, if you're thinking about starting this particular journey, I don't want to scare you to make it seem like this is the most difficult thing to do, because any business or anything that you do that's brand new to you will be difficult. However, the Fire Alarm Business Blueprint will give you the steps you need so that way you will never feel stuck or ever be stuck within a process. As you go along through all the steps, and as we coach you through all these daily tutorials and weekly live events, you will be able to actually design a plan that's tailored perfectly for your business. So this is definitely a new business that you could actually start. Ma and Pa, you can make it online, because once you gain more knowledge, you could teach other people, open up an online community, or you could just be a straight up fire alarm company, or you could just be a security company and do cameras, card access, burglar alarm systems, or you could do both. And no matter how you slice it, you can make money within this industry depending on which way you want to go. So whatever you're best at, I suggest you would start there first. You can get your fire alarm license. You don't have to do fire alarm installations. You can just straight do monitoring and inspections. And then if you're good with cameras, go after all the camera work. You could still be successful as a fire alarm business. As you grow, you just hire the people to fill the voids that you have. That will definitely take your business to the next level and grow your business, because you're putting people in place that could duplicate the processes that's actually, they can master that one particular process to make it way more better than how you actually had it. So no matter what business you're in, especially if you're in the fire alarm business, clarity is power. When you can explain what you do in one sentence, people will always remember you. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast or wherever you're listening or absorbing this information, and I will leave some links inside the show notes or the descriptions to give you some free tools if you want to transform yourself from a technician to a CEO. All right, fire alarm expert out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.